Hey there folks, Quinn here, Mass Ramen on the internet with another pickup video I have here from the Dollar Tree. Superman, issue number 1, Rise of the Superwoman. I really picked this up because it had Dan Mora here as the artist. I guess everything that Dollar Tree has is issue number 1, so I'm just going to open. This was the only one that sort of piqued my interest. I didn't really have any interest in all the other stuff because I know these are sort of like meant to be one and done's kind of deals. Like I'm not going to pick up issue 2, seeing as how everything that they have is issue number 1. So it's like, okay, I know that from a reader's point of view, an experienced comic reader point of view, like I'm not going to be able to get issue number 2 unless I go to a comic store and find it. But I wasn't too happy with my last pickup from the Dollar Tree, but you can't really go wrong with some Dan Mora artwork. I'm really super excited. Oh man, it's already the end. Boom, the end. Later, bye. But yeah, I really like Dan Mora's artwork. Really super cool. It reminds me a little bit of my own, where it's a little bit anime, a little bit sort of, it's like a fusion of like anime and American comics. Really great stuff. I really like Dan Mora's artwork. It's great that he's not doing Power Rangers and he's doing these books, even though I don't really read sort of new comic books. I really do like to follow the artwork of these guys. Yeah, these new guys are super good. But I'm not liking these dollar comics. It's cool that they are $1.25. I could sort of check it out and maybe I can pick up a little bit more of Dan Mora's Superman. I do have a couple of his Ninja Turtles, Power Rangers, but that's all I really have of him. But I love the way he draws Superman and Batman and all this other stuff. Pretty cool. I'm really looking forward to reading this. It's written by Joshua Williamson. We'll see. I was really into Superman back when they had the Daxamite. I forget that dude's name. But he was a Daxamite and he took the place of Superman when Superman was off somewhere. I forget. But that was like the Dan DiDio era, before the New 52. Before the New 52, that was my DC. That was my Green Lantern origins, and that was when I got back into comics after I left, 90s Image behind me and I stopped reading comics. I kind of returned. I bought a Green Lantern number 18 off the spinner rack at the liquor store across the street from my work. And that set me off on this spiral of getting all these comic books from DC, because before I was an Image guy, I was a Marvel guy. Even though Batman was my favorite comic character, but that was really because of the Batman Adam West TV show, the Super Friends, Batman the Animated Series. Like everything I knew of Batman was like from the movies or shows, not necessarily, not from the comic books, because I didn't read DC comic books. I read Marvel, and then after Marvel I went to Image, because that's where all the Marvel guys created Image, and that's where I fell into. And then I sort of stopped once those guys sort of stopped being the artist of their own books, when it sort of felt like it was going off the rails there, where Jim Lee and Rob Liefeld actually left Image to go back to Marvel. I collected maybe a year or so, or year 2, 3 maybe, after that. And then I just completely got off comic books. But Green Lantern brought me back. And it was cool because I never really read DC stories. The only thing I knew about DC characters, like I said, Super Friends and all that stuff, I knew Green Lantern was from cartoons, from when I was a kid, but I didn't really know his story. I knew a little bit of him through the Reign of Superman. I actually did get the Reign of Superman when it came out because that was a really big deal. I didn't even get Batman when they broke his back, which is around that same sort of era. But Dan DiDio felt like he knew these characters, he knew what was interesting, and I will forever be grateful to him and what he did over there. Even in the end, like, it got messed up, but I know it was because of like legal stuff. But he really did like comic books, and he really specifically, I felt like he loved DC. And it showed in the books that they were producing at that time. I was getting everything. I was getting Green Lantern. I got the Flash. I was getting Flash. I was getting the Rogues. Rogues Gallery is cool. Like, I know in previous videos I said I didn't like Suicide Squad because they are, like pretending like they were being forced to do missions. But like, in the Flash books where they were, it had the bad guys, like the Rogues Gallery of the Flash. Those are actually really good books because it's comic books of them being bad. Like, if you're going to do supervillains comics, like, have them doing bad stuff. Like, let them be villains. And then, like, just have, like, the hero of the day, whoever it is, take them down and then show them coming back up again. Because that's sort of what they do. The villains always come back. Why not show that? Like, let them pick themselves off the floor and do bad again. Let them try to be bad again. Like, why not have a book like that? That's a real book right there. Not like necessarily Suicide Squad. Like, I don't mean to harp on the Suicide Squad, but no, just have villains be villains. Why not, Anyway, but yeah, Tower of Babel was a great story, and I got a lot of Ran Thanagarian War was pretty dope. I have that. I have a bunch of DC at that era because from that Green Lantern, like 18 or 19, I went back and got all the stuff before it. Not just Green Lantern, but like Crisis on Infinite Earth, stuff like that, Like, that was really super dope. I really loved it. But that was like the starting point of like that whole era was the Crisis, and then I went all the way back there and then got everything. I spent a lot of money in that time, man. I was so into comic books, man. I must have added like 4 or 5 long boxes in that period of time of when I was buying books, because I started buying like a lot of Dark Horse stuff, Spike, Buffy the Vampire Slayer, Firefly, all that stuff, and then a little bit of I think a little bit of Marvel stuff. I was getting Cable. One of the cool things that came out of that year was Blue Beetle, like the Jaime Reyes stuff. I really loved that series. That series was super great. But yeah, Dollar Tree, $1.25. That was an era when $1.25 comics were dope. You know what I mean? That's sort of like dollar comics. That was the price of my comics when I started buying books, and now it's like $5, $6, $7, $8 a comic book. That's sort of why I read 90s comics. I already have them, and my perspective has changed because I'm older now. I'm not a little kid, and reading them is really fun. And it has the artwork that I like. It has the stories that I like. And the stories sort of like changed a little bit to me too, because like I maybe didn't understand it well enough when I was a kid. So 90s comics are really super cool to me. I really like, I really enjoying doing these reviews. That's my video for today. Have a happy Saturday. And until next time, God bless.